In my earlier segment, I talked about Joe Rogan defending Budweiser, Bud Light, Anheuser-Busch. And I think this video shines a light on another issue related, why people are upset about what's going on. And the fact is that people are upset about what's going on. But more specifically, Canadian high school students reject drag queen event at high school. They actually protested. Now, don't get me wrong. You give a high school student an excuse to protest, they're probably going to do it. But this is the strategy. I think South Park did an episode about it where they say like, oh, we're all going to go protest the war or something. And they're like, so we get to leave school? Okay. And they all leave. The left understands this. They go to high schools and they say, hey, everybody, don't you hate climate change? It's time to protest. And the high school kids are like, so I can leave class if I claim it's for this reason? And then they do. Then the media comes out and says, high school kids are furious about climate change. In this instance, however, it actually looks like the sentiment from these students is to reject what's being forced upon them. We have this tweet from True North. Despite what radical LGBTQ activists and the legacy media claim, many Canadians are very uncomfortable with drag queens dancing in front of students. This was clear today in Toronto as students protested a drag queen event. Not only that, but let me pull this up. Billboard Chris reposting this video from Harrison Faulkner. 1.9 million views shows a trans activist having his flag taken from him, ripped away by someone who runs off. Everyone starts cheering and screaming in support of the person who did this. Now, look. I think it's wrong. If somebody has a flag and they want to stand up and they want to yell about it, they're allowed to do it. Let them do it and then yell back. I don't think it's ever appropriate to steal someone's property, but this person did, and they're cheering for it, and that matters. Again, I'll stress this. There are people who go out and protest and love American flags, and the far left will attack them. They'll take the flag from them, they'll destroy it. That's wrong. You can't do that. If somebody owns the flag and they want to destroy it in whatever way, and it's safe, fine. I will say lighting a fire in the middle of a street is probably not safe, so I'm not surprised police come in to stop that. The left then says, but it's free speech. It's free speech. It's like, yeah, dude, but starting fires in the middle of the road is not free speech. Okay, calm down. Once you get a permit, it's controlled and safe and all that stuff. So not a fan of the stealing of the flag, but it's important to see that high school students are saying outright no to this. Billboard Chris tweets, kids are rebelling against transgender insanity. In this tweet from Mia, Crimea River on Twitter, my eldest tells me the same. In the past year, any mention of pronouns or gender identities triggers open scorn and ridicule. The tide is turning. Society will soon be released from the grips of this deranged body mutilation cult, but so many will sadly bear the scars forever. In Europe, they have abandoned this kind of treatment and much of this ideology. They now opt for mental therapy, not body modification surgery. And it is kind of crazy to me that was ever an option. I suppose, though, if you've got someone who's got an eating disorder and they're morbidly obese, we do something similar, but not necessarily. Like, I'm also not a big fan of giving people like, what's that thing where they tie a band around your stomach? What is that called? I can't remember what that's called. So you can't eat as much, or they give you, or people get liposuction. I'm like, we've got mental and cultural problems in this country that I don't think should be solved by surgeries. If somebody's got a brain issue, they need brain help. And here's the interesting thing. I'll put it this way. It's a software problem that they're trying to solve with a hardware change, if that makes it easier to understand. Somebody whose software makes them eat exorbitant amounts of unhealthy food, resulting in morbid obesity, cannot be solved by simply cutting out their fat or liposuction or whatever else. What is it? Gastric bypass. Is that what it's called? Gastric bypass? Is that what it is? Gastric bypass? I could be wrong. I don't know. They tie something around your stomach so it can't expand. So when you try to eat, you're like, oh, I'm too full. I can't eat anymore. And that forces you to stop eating. Yo, if someone's got a software problem, they need software assistance. I don't see this as being the path forward. And you know what? Young people are starting to wake up too. Take a look at this story from just about a week ago. North Carolina school faces fallout for letting drag queen straddle student. Where are the adults? And you know, I don't even know if I can show that on YouTube, but it infuriates me. So, shout out to our good friend Joe Rogan. He's a good dude when he says, I don't understand why people are so mad that Dylan Mulvaney was sponsored by Budweiser. This is why. Dude, people are sick and tired of this. They don't like it. Apparently at this protest, they were handing out, let me see if I can, they were handing out Bibles. Let me do this. Let me actually just play the video for you so you can hear what these kids actually had to say. And let's just let it go.
Because they understand if they can divide us, they will be able to conquer us.
As a drag queen danced on a stage for the pleasure of students today inside York Mills Collegiate Institute, a protest of that event, organized by high school students, took place outside of the school today. Now, that protest of the drag show going on inside that school attracted a large number of students and, of course, a large police presence. The protest was organized by Save Canada, a nonprofit volunteer organization committed to opposing radical gender ideology in Canadian schools. Despite the special occasion, the International Day of Pink, which seems to be a new day created to highlight the victims of anti-LGBTQ bullying, these high school students just don't seem to be buying the radical gender ideology message being forced on them by the media, woke teachers, and woke curriculum.
So let's jump forward here.
Here we go. Anyone who is watching this,
the issue is
to
that
anyone
we have
who is paying
kids being
attention,
indoctrinated
who
in the
feels
education
inside
system, and that's
that you are
obviously
not the person.
It's disgusting and pedophilic. I don't think it's the government's business, left-wing media's business at all as what children are doing with other children. Now children choose to identify. I think it's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Like, as you can see, like, there's so many people standing here right now opposed to like what's happening here. I think like children in general should never be sexualized in like any single way. And like that's not even the worst part. The worst part is they only allowed a select few people to attend the assembly that they chose fit to assemble it. And everyone else had to stay inside their classroom. They were locked inside their classroom. They were not allowed to roam the halls.
That's
they were
weird.
not allowed to physically see the assembly. They were not allowed to protest about what's happening. That doesn't make sense to me. I think
It doesn't make sense. They don't want you disrupting the event. That's why you weren't allowed in there, because they know where you stand on this.
as you can see, it doesn't make sense to most people here who are rooting with me. I have no hate towards the people, but I personally think like what's happening here is unjust.
I think that there's some agenda behind this with the LGBTQ plus community. Now, I don't mind LGBTQ at all, but they're trying to indoctrinate children with their ideologies, and I am not cool with that at all. Kids go to school to learn English, math, science, to socialize with friends, do phys ed. Gender identity stuff shouldn't be taught in schools.
After a counter
So these are students saying this, all right? I think that's, well, I think I'm optimistic, huh? You know, because I was saying this the other day. I do not see how the far left wins in the long run. I can certainly see them burning things down, destroying things, and having a temper tantrum. But it's like I was saying in the previous segment, if there is an illness that is super disruptive on your body, then, you know, if the symptoms are so severe that people can see it, they avoid you, and eventually the illness struggles to persist. The left has done such a tremendous job of pissing people off, destroying businesses, destroying industries, costing Anheuser-Busch $6.65 billion in market cap already. The damage is becoming palpable. And eventually people are going to be like, dude, I don't want to go anywhere near this. I do not want to get woke and go broke. And I'll tell you this right here. When young people are getting pissed off, take a look at this. When Anheuser-Busch says, we got to get rid of that frat bro image because our brand is dying. Are you kidding me? The number one selling beer in the world is not dying. Your stock was up 10% before you pulled this. But check it out. These high school kids, in a few years, they're going to be entering your market and they don't like you and they don't like what you just did. So how? Does anything that they're doing make any sense? So I'll tell you this, man, seeing this stuff, this is a white pill moment. I am fairly optimistic about where this goes in the future. Don't get me wrong. It will get dark. It may get very dark. But you know what? So what? These kids are standing up. We're going to win this one. We're going to push back. We're going to win the elections. We're going to get ballot harvesting, ballot chasing, all where legal. We're going to register new voters, and we're going to show videos to regular people and say, you don't want to be on the wrong side of history, do you? It's the biggest motivator of these leftists. You're on the wrong side of history. Actually, we're not. You are. And, when many of these regular people who don't pay attention start to realize what's true, they will flip in 2 seconds. Many of these liberals only feign support for these movements because they think it's the right side of history. But I'll tell you this, my friends, lobotomies weren't the right side of history, and this won't be either. I'll leave it there. Next segment is coming up at 6 p.m. on this channel. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you all then.